It only takes an apocalypse to make me make a video. Hello. I would like to talk today about Disney live-action remakes. What are they? Why do they exist? Should they exist? I will talk about all these things and more in this video that not one of you asked for. Disney made a lot of very successful animated films. They're still doing that, but they also realised that they can make the old films again in a new format and make a lot of money off of nostalgia. Some of them do add something, and I'll get to that, but most of them just put a big name on a big title and make a big profit. That's the format. It works because it's a hugely successful company in a very capitalist society, so... Here's my rating system. The film gets points for everything it adds as a remake, and it loses points for everything that it takes away. And then maybe there's bonus points. I haven't decided. We're just going with the flow. Number 1, The Jungle Book. Honestly, it's a stretch even calling this live action, since it seems to mostly have consisted of filming a kid in a blue void, but I guess it's still under the live action umbrella, even if it's more mocap than anything else. This was the second film in the big resurgence of reboots, and honestly it might be my favourite? Maybe because I saw it in a more optimistic time. It's hard to tell. Here's the thing, this is why I think it's a good remake, because it doesn't really feel like a remake. It takes the characters from the original film and reseeds them in a story closer to the book by Rudyard Kipling. It's a lot darker in tone, but it still has the music from the original, so it comes across different, but not like edgy. I like this version of Mowgli a lot more. I think in the original he was kind of obnoxious, and I found that quite annoying as a kid. There's a great deal more drama in this one. You have Idris Elba as Shere Khan. It has quite a lot of additional story, and it has some sick looking CGI animals. I will say I've not seen this film since it came out in 2016, so it's all a bit fuzzy in my brain. I do remember that it didn't have the vultures in it from the original film, which as a child I found hilarious. They very much would not fit in with this version of the film in the way that they were in the original film. So I guess it's a negative, but it's also not really. Number 2, Cinderella. It's the very first in this clutch of reboots that spawned itself onto the world we live in. And it's fine. My main issue with this remake is that it was made 65 years after the original and they've barely changed anything about it. Don't get me wrong, Lily James, hot. Dress, looks great. Rob Stark, also here. But in those 65 years, we have seen several versions of the Cinderella story. Honestly, the Hilary Duff version did more with it. So it adds Lily James and a dress, and it takes no initiative, and it took the mice away. So that's a flat 0 for you, Cinderella. I'm sorry. Number 3, Beauty and the Beast. Oh boy. I'm so conflicted about this film. This one had at the time of release the shortest gap between the original coming out and the remake coming out. That was a 26-year gap, so prime real estate for us nostalgic millennials, overwhelmed by existence and keen to spend 2 hours reliving our childhoods, watching VHS tapes on a Sunday morning rather than fretting about whether the world is going to burn down around us. Did this film provide that escapism? I genuinely don't know, but it did provide the motivation for them to keep making films to push into this particular market. But let's get into this debate, this turmoil within my own brain. Because there is a lot for me to like about this film. Emma Watson, Dan Stevens, this hilarious behind-the-scenes photo. Great new songs, good costuming, a bigger backstory for Belle, great overall cast, story elaboration, and more time for character development. And yet when I watch it, I'm just like... You know? Maybe it's some of the vocal performances. Maybe it's the fact that you cannot recreate the Beast as animated by Glen Keane. It's impossible. Maybe I'm held back by my own nostalgia. I've got the old, oh, it'll never be as good as the original. Maybe it's the fact that it was marketed as having Disney's first gay moment, which visually was a single second of 2 men dancing in a crowded scene. I don't know. I want to like it. I've watched it twice. And yet, number 4, Dumbo. I didn't see this film. I did see the trailer about 600 times, so I'm just going to base it on that. I know from the trailer that this version has Danny DeVito in it.
We should make sure we're taking care of everybody, and you know, we've got a big, wonderful world we live in, and people have a lot of money, and then we have to figure it out, you know, so that it's you know, the distribution of wealth.
So, based exclusively on that and the fact that he's a treasure, I'm going to give Dumbo 2 points. Number 5, Aladdin. See, this is why I don't think that it's nostalgia ruining Beauty and the Beast for me, because I was as into, if not more into, Aladdin, and I really liked this remake. The cast are great, Will Smith's genie is very funny, No, it's not like Robin Williams' Genie, but A, they're different people, and B, why would you want anyone to try and be Robin Williams? It's impossible. They added a really funny character who was also, you know, another woman to be in the film with Jasmine. They gave Jasmine herself a lot more agency and, just for fun, a one-woman power ballad. They leaned into Bollywood for the dance numbers and made a big improvement on the whole casting people of colour in the roles for people of colour thing. The only bad word I really have about it is that it sure does have a high frame rate in its parkour scenes, which kind of hurt my brain in the cinema. Aside from that, it's great fun. Number 6 is The Lion King, and we've come crashing back down. Why would you have Beyonce in this film and not let her have Nala's extra storyline from the stage show? Let her sing Shadowland! I'm fine. It is worth noting that the original Lion King is one of my favourite films of all time, so it's hard for me to distance myself from that. But I tried. I really tried. This film, I think, falls into the Cinderella trap of not adding enough to warrant remaking it at all. It even goes as far as remaking certain scenes almost word for word. The parts that I felt emotionally affecting me were the scenes that James Earl Jones was voicing Mufasa in, again, doing almost the exact word for word lines that he'd done 25 years ago for the original. That's not a homage. That just makes me question why I'm not watching the original. These are the good parts. The CGI is great. Animals, landscape, everything looks incredible. The cast is very good, although, again, you have Beyonce, you have Donald Glover, and they're only in like the last 20 to 25 minutes of the film. Why? Timon and Pumbaa, genuinely funny. Best part of the film. And you know why? It's because a lot of their dialogue was updated. So with Aladdin, they took what they had, changed things, moved stuff around, added to it, took new stuff from the original story. Not all of it works, it's not a perfect film, but The Lion King just does nothing. They had 3 animated films, several animated TV shows, a stage show from Broadway. So much stuff to work off, so much extra material, and yet all they added was a single out of context Beyonce song that they just played over the top of a scene. They kept everything else the same. I don't understand why. Okay, I understand why. Number 7 is Lady and the Tramp, which I also have not seen. I'm gonna watch the trailer right now and judge it on that.
Every day could be an adventure.
Those dogs are gonna bone! We've really come a long way in animating animals' mouths since cats and dogs, huh? Yeah, that looks cute. It's got Shirley from Community in it. I'll give it 2 points. That is my extremely detailed assessment. These are the results. I can't believe Beauty and the Beast is 3rd place out of 7. I'm so angry at it, but I don't know why. This all came about because I couldn't decide whether I wanted to see the live-action Mulan in the cinema. On the one hand, 2 hours of sword-swinging, cross-dressing escapism. On the other, it has a fair chance of disappointing me, and also the lead actress has been saying some very questionable things on the internet. But now it doesn't matter because coronavirus has me locked inside my home, so I can't go to the cinema anyway. Problem solved. Now that Disney Plus is out, you can bear all of these thoughts in mind before you inevitably end up watching every remake for reasons you cannot put your finger on. Let me know your rankings and hope you're having a nice apocalypse. Nice to see you. As always. As not very often. How do you end these?